We'll call the meeting to order. Some of you may know that I'm not Larry Walsh. Larry was here yesterday. We had our congressman in. Today he's home conserving his strength, protecting his health, and we support him in that. We have Ray Tuminello, who's going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and introduce our clergy this morning.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the proud to announce, Father John Merkelis, Providence Catholic High School, out of New Lenox. Father Merck entered the Augustinian Seminary in Holland, Michigan at the age of 14 years old. He continued his formation at Villanova University and made his vows to the order in 1984. Father Merck joined Providence Catholic in 1994 as principal and has served as Director of Vocations, Pastoral Director, Director of Pastoral Ministry, Providence Personnel Director, Providence Council, Providence Personnel Director, and a whole bunch of lists of other things. And when I talked to you the other day, I asked Father Merck, I need to say a little bit about you as you walked up, and your response was, just introduce me as a sinner looking for God's grace. So I'd like to thank the ladies at the office who came up with this really nice presentation. And with that, Father Merck.
That was too much information. Let us pray. The name Providence means God provides. God has certainly provided for us at Providence Catholic High School, from our humble beginning under the Loretto sisters in the 1800s in a downtown building not far from this, to the Sisters of Providence who gave us our name in 1918. It is our centenary anniversary. I am grateful for this board's recognition this morning. The Augustinians arrived in 1984, fortunate to have been entrusted a wonderful school in a beautiful county. We have formed young men and women of this county and the surrounding counties to be good citizens and active participants in the process of government. I ask God to bless this assembly with wisdom and good judgment. May you be servant leaders, faithful to the principles of our country and sensitive to the needs of the people you represent. Quoting from the mission statement of Providence, may we be one in mind and heart, joined in the blessing that is Providence, to become something greater together. This we pray. Amen.
Amen. Clerk call the roll.
Perry?
Here.
Perslow? Ogala? Here. Summers? Here. Cook? Here. Eustace?
Here.
Moran? Rice? Here. Harris?
Here.
Rainier? Here. Fritz? Mueller? Here. Gould?
Here.
Van Dyne?
Here.
Ballich?
Here.
Brooks?
Yeah.
Parker? Here. Ventura? Present. Dollinger? Present. Markham?
Here.
Berkowitz? Present. Cowan? Here. Tuminello?
Here.
Weigel?
Here.
Reliance?
Here.
With here. Reliance. Present.
approval of minutes.
Gary.
Yes.
Griswold.
Yes.
O'Donnell. Yes. Summers.
Yes.
Cook. Yes. Eustace.
Yes.
Moran.
Yes.
Rice. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
Rainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Yes. Mueller.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Parker. Yes. Ventura.
Yes.
Dollinger. Yes. Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz. Yes. Cowan. Yes. Pinello.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Politis.
Yes.
Winfrey. 26 affirmative.
We have approval of minutes from the executive session of the county board meeting on February 21st.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Previous roll.
Aye.
Previous roll.
Previous. Motion for previous roll.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Clerk, would you acknowledge? More minutes. The Will County Board of Assessors meeting of March 21st.
Second. Previous roll.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Today we have for elected officials Auditor Duffy Blackburn, County Board Speaker Denise Winfrey, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, State's Attorney James Glasgow, and for media we have Nick Ryer, Farmers Weekly Review.
Thank you. Okay, for honorary resolutions, we have recognizing Providence Catholic High School's 100th anniversary, Ray Tuminello and Father McKellis. We also have Tom Weigel.
All right, thank you. Before I read the resolution, I was thinking about 100 years and what 100 years of anything really meant. And a lot of great things have come and gone in the last 100 years. About 100 years ago, in 1919, I was laughing because my wife and I were looking at the pop-up toaster was invented. Woodrow Wilson was the president, and the rotary dial telephone had just been invented. You see, things have come and gone. You know, one thing that hasn't gone was Providence Catholic. 100 years is a long time to survive anything. Now, I think part of it is because of their core principles: truth, unity, and love. Just take a second and think about what this world would be like if we all had a little bit of unity and love in us, especially our politicians, maybe in Washington, Springfield. I think it goes a long way to giving those individuals good credentials to live out the rest of their life. I know I try to live by them. My children are very fortunate to have gone to Providence. My son, hopefully he can make another 30 days. We'll graduate and move on to college. My daughter's already a second-year college student who has graduated. They have unbelievable core principles, and I can thank Providence for a lot of that. You don't have to be rich to go there. Providence every year does a tremendous amount of academic scholarships to those who financially can't afford to go there, and I thank you for that. So with that, Father Merck, I'd like to offer you this proclamation. Whereas in 1918, the Sisters of Providence in the St. Mary of the Woods, Indiana, were asked by the Cardinal on the line to staff a school in New Lenox, Illinois, to teach 59 students, a school they named Providence High School, opened. Whereas during the Great Depression, an academic department closed and changed to a 2-year commercial school, and in 1938, a 4-year secretarial course was initiated. And whereas in 1959, the building was condemned by the Joliet Fire Marshal and demolished while classes continued at St. Mary Nativity in Joliet. Whereas Providence built a new school in New Lenox, which opened in September of 1962 as a constitutional high school with 340 students. Whereas in 1968, they faced a financial crisis that threatened closure. The Save Our School campaign was launched. And whereas Father Richard Capper was appointed principal in 1970 with 3 conditions: raised between $35,000 to $50,000, religious faculty members were to remain in place, and enrollment levels must be maintained. From 1971 to 76, student enrollment grew from 490 up to 785 students. Whereas in 1978, Providence Catholic High School won its first 3 championships in wrestling, girls track, and baseball, a winning tradition that continues today. And whereas throughout the 1990s, Providence Catholic High School became fully accredited and saw enrollment grow to over 1,140 students. Whereas the new millennium has seen tremendous growth as the school acquired 25 acres for athletic fields, bringing in the total campus to now 75 acres. 100 years later, Providence Catholic High School continues the tradition of providing Catholic education to over 1,000 students. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby congratulate Providence Catholic High School on their 100th-year anniversary and express their appreciation for the many contributions to the citizens of Will County. Be it further proclaimed that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive wish Providence Catholic High School, their staff, and students another 100 years of success. Dated this day in 2019, Lawrence M. Walsh, and I so move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Briefly, on behalf of the Providence family, thank you for the recognition. We are proud to be such a part of the history of Will County. Thank you.
We have Tyler Markham come down for the Special Olympics presentation.
I'm not as elegant as Ray, so I'm not going to listen to fun facts. I will just say, as they're all coming down, as somebody who had an uncle who participated in Special Olympics, that it's always nice to see the positive role that sports can play in everybody's lives. As a former athlete, I connect with them. So. This is a proclamation honoring the Joliet Township High School Special Olympics basketball team on their state championship. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County. And whereas on March 16, 2019, the Joliet Township High School Special Olympics gold basketball team won the Illinois Special Olympics Division VI State Championship in Bloomington, Illinois. And whereas the championship was the second consecutive state title won by the Joliet Township High School Special Olympics basketball team. And whereas the JTHS team began the tournament on March 15th with a 45-13 win over Crystal Lake Central Black. And whereas the JTHS Special Olympics gold basketball team defeated the Hershey Huskies Orange team by a score of 55-32. And whereas the success earned in the winning season can be attributed to the determination and commitment of coaches Cameron Majerus, Anna Bushong, and Caroline Krodiak. And whereas the hard work and dedication of each member of the Joliet Township High School Special Olympic gold basketball team made the championship possible. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby honor the Joliet Township High School Special Olympics basketball team and their Division VI state championship. Be it further resolved that coaches Majorius, Bushhog, and Krodiak, and the members of the Joliet Township High School Olympics gold basketball team be commended for their distinguished honor. Dated this 18th day of April 2019, signed by Lawrence M. Walsh, County Executive, attested by Lawrence Daly Perry, County Clerk, and I so move.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All these athletes, they worked hard throughout the year, and they just came together at the right time. And I appreciate all that you do for our students and all that they do for us. Thank you.
No, great job.
Next up, we have recognized the Red Cross Sound the Alarm events in May. Jackie Trenier, read from the desk.
Good morning, everyone. The American Red Cross of Illinois in our area, the River Valley, serves over 1.1 million residents in 6 counties: Kankakee, Will, Grundy, Kendall, LaSalle, and Putnam. I've been very fortunate that I've never needed their services, but it's nice to know that they're nearby if I do. We do seem to have a number of storms come through our way, and they've been very helpful in those situations. The proclamation states, supporting American Red Cross, sound the alarm campaign. Whereas the Illinois River Valley chapter of the American Red Cross is a valuable partner in Will County, and whereas each day across the country, 7 people die in home fires, and tragically, most victims die in homes without a working smoke alarm. And whereas since January 1st, 2019, the Illinois River Valley chapter has responded to 48 incidents in Will County, assisting over 500 residents in their time of need. And whereas the American Red Cross has launched a home fire campaign entitled Sound the Alarm to encourage volunteers to work alongside fire departments and other groups to canvass at-risk neighborhoods and install free smoke alarms, replace batteries in existing alarms, and educate families about fire protection and safety. And whereas the Sound the Alarm campaign has saved hundreds of lives and made hundreds of thousands of households safer throughout the country, and whereas the American Red Cross depends on volunteers to help with the installation, and whereas the Illinois River Valley chapter of the American Red Cross is looking for volunteers to help in the Bolingbrook area on Saturday, May 11th, 2019, and in the Joliet area on Saturday, May 18th, 2019, to make our community safer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive support the Illinois River Valley chapter of the American Red Cross and its Sound the Alarm campaign efforts to make our community safer. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive encourage residents to volunteer in bringing life-saving smoke alarms and education to at-risk neighborhoods in Bolingbrook and Joliet during the month of May. Dated this 18th day of April 2019, and I so move.
Second.
And before you vote, Brian McDaniel is the new Executive Director of Red Cross.
I know
Thank you so much. It's good to see friendly faces here. Thank you all for the support.
Thank you for joining us. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, now recognizing April as National County Government Month, Mark Ferry.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Today's proclamation does just what Denise said, and let's begin. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties, serving more than 300 million Americans, provide essential services to create healthy, safe, and vibrant communities. And whereas counties provide health service, administer justice, keep communities safe, foster economic opportunities, and much, much more. Whereas Will County takes pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, welfare, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas through the National Association of Counties Connecting the Unconnected initiative, Will County is demonstrating how to deliver people-centered services to our residents. And whereas since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate the awareness of county responsibilities, programs, and services. Now therefore be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive do hereby proclaim April 2019 as National County Government Month. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive encourage all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in county government celebration activities. Dated this 18th day of April 2019. Signed by Larry M. Walsh, County Executive. Attested by Lauren Steely Ferry, Will County Clerk. And I so move.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We also have proclamation recognizing Earth Day, read by Rachel Ventura.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Whereas the Will County Board and the Will County Executive recognize all species play a unique role in the complex web of life and contribute to the ecosystem services on which all life on Earth depends, and hence, protecting our species is crucial to the survival of the planet and its inhabitants. And whereas wild animal populations have declined on average by more than half, and the Earth is facing an era of mass extinction. And whereas the loss of species is for the most part a result of human activity, including degradation of ecosystems, deforestation, pollution, and climate change. And whereas in 2050, between 60 and 70% of all people will live in cities, and the species provide important services to city dwellers, such as generating oxygen, purifying the air, controlling other animals considered pests or the spread of disease, pollinating plants and crops, providing recreational opportunities and well-being. And whereas it is understood that sustainability will only be achieved by meeting the needs of the present without compromising the needs of future generations. It is more important than ever to cooperate locally and internationally to defend the environmental progress that has been heretofore gained. And whereas Earth Day is an annual reminder of the constant need for environmental activism, stewardship, commitment, and sustainability efforts. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2019 as Earth Day throughout Will County. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive encourage all of its citizens, businesses, institutions to use Earth Day to celebrate the Earth and promote the protection of our species. Dated this 18th day of April 2019, signed by Lawrence M. Walsh, Will County Executive, and attested by Lawrence Daly Ferry, Will County Clerk, and I so move.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Be advised all resolutions approved at the March 21st, 2019 County Board meeting have been signed by the County Executive. Move on to new business, starting with land use. Mr. Markham.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for all land use cases.
Second.
All those in favor?
I have to do a roll.
Barry.
Yes.
Griswold.
Yes.
O'Connor. Yes. Summers.
Yes.
Yes.
Eustace.
Yes.
Moran.
Yes.
Rice. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
Rainier.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker. Yes. Ventura.
Yes.
Ballinger. Yes. Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Collins. Yes. Tomanello.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Winfrey.
Yes.
26 affirmative.
We have 5 cases to be heard. The cases are ZC 18059, ZC 18082, ZC 18083, ZC 18088, and ZC 19003. There is a valid legal objection, actually there are 2, for zoning case ZC 1883, excuse me, which will require a 3/4 majority vote, which would be 20 votes of the entire county board. Starting, and we have quite a few people signed up for public comment. So, that's why we organize. Okay, so we have some public speakers signed up. According to this sheet, the first ones that have signed up are for ZC 18082. We have Sandra Rennie. She's already standing up. I see Mrs. Arnold coming behind her. You're after her. Okay, so you're doing it together?
No, she's just going to hold my visual,
Okay.
since we couldn't put it on the screen. I'm back. Madam Chairman, I'd like to ask if I could have extra time to speak on behalf of my husband Gary as well.
Okay, so I have it listed here, so he's not going to be speaking?
No, our speech for both of us here.
Thank you. Speech for the record.
As in, oh, I'm sorry, Sandra, I'm running. I didn't hear you. I apologize. Okay. As indicated by our many neighbors, emails that you've received, and speeches that you've heard since last January, this special use permit for packaged liquor sales at the McHenry gas station on 194th continues to be a major concern regarding the many health and safety issues such as crime, an increase in traffic, which will ultimately be facing all our community members. We therefore continue to be adamantly opposed to this legislation. First, for those of you who are new to the board, we are all members of, quote, a neighborhood watch group, which was established in the year 2000. And in 2012, when these special use permits were brought to the county board, approximately 700 residents signed those petitions opposing them at this location, which I believe is the only station, his only station directly adjacent to a residential neighborhood in this area. And these permits were rejected twice by the Will County Board members. So contrary to Mr. McHenry's lawyer's statement that these concerns represent just a quote-unquote few residents, we have brought you proof today from the many residents who continue to have all voiced strong opposition to this proposal. This time, however, we decided to circulate petitions to the residents who reside in the immediate blocks most affected by the gas station. And we still have a total of over 100 residents and family members who have signed. These very same residents are voters who have continued to pay millions of dollars over the years to Will County. These are our petitions, and over 100 people have signed that are residents. we would like to submit that, if that's possible. Okay. Now we have heard that Mr. McHenry had an online petition seeking approval of his permit from his various customers at his station. But I would argue that those customers could be located anywhere, driving off of I-80 from such areas as Indiana or who knows where. Our petitions, however, can be validated as to the many property owners and addresses of your constituents residing in our county of Will. Second, regarding the health and safety requirement for this special use permit, I would ask you to review the current traffic issues we face 24/7 days a week. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We've got here a little, I'm not that good at making it, but that kind of shows you what we're having here. Cars and trucks are stacked 4 to 6 at a time, waiting to make turns onto Harlem Avenue, or maybe turning west from Harlem to enter the station for Dunkin' Donuts and coffee, causing major backups in traffic turning north on Harlem throughout the day. So we would therefore ask you, do we need more traffic on our residential streets when our children may be walking down to Mr. McHenry's place for slushies? The refueling station in the middle, the one that I made, the 8x10 for trucks, is the closest to our residential homes. There's a fence behind that. And so we do not need more noise, fumes, pollution from cars or trucks at this vicinity. Thank you, Linda. Third, there is no need for packaged liquor licenses given the many existing businesses in our area. I.e., we have liquor sales a few blocks south at Speedway, a few blocks north at Target. Not to mention the various liquor stores in the community. So his station would be taking away from existing businesses. We also want Odyssey concert goers to stop and buy liquor before or after concerts and then drive home. Also, we know from the last Will County Board meeting, the number of liquor licenses were not extended, given that the majority of licenses for Will County are located in our incorporated section of Will. So giving a special use permit for this location is ludicrous, since there aren't any liquor licenses to be had. Fourth, as you may remember, there have been many studies we have provided to this Will County regarding crime, which, for example, provide detailed facts, which, for example, state in neighborhoods where many outlets that sell alcohol and beer, more violent assaults occur, and robbers commonly consider escape routes, which, of course, will definitely have an effect regarding the safety for our nearby residents. Also, please note that Leonard has stated at many legislative meetings when trying to gain approval to Tinley, for example, or other special legislative meetings, that there have been, quote unquote, no problems at his station. I would therefore remind you to check your documents from the Will County Sheriff's Report, which was provided for you in your reports there. And it states that over the past 2 years, 2016 to 2018, there was 1 aggravated battery, 9 accidents, 1 intoxication, 7 robbery thefts, 1 armed robbery, and 1 report of criminal damage. So our concerns regarding crime in this area are completely warranted. Lastly, as residents and taxpayers of this community, our property values will continue to decline. Ours have, it wasn't in that report from the Will County. I can state that for a fact. That can be checked with the tax assessor. And as you know, for many of us, our homes are the largest investment most of us have ever made. So when we choose a home, we would hope that we could enjoy and have a safe area for our children and residents to enjoy. Please remember that our neighborhood is like an extended family. So once more, we ask that you, our elected officials, strongly consider the human impact of this vote, just as the Will County Board members, the Village of Tinley Park Board members, and the Frankfort Township Board members have done in the past. Please vote no for this special use permit. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Arnold?
Good morning. My name is Linda Arnold, and I am here to request the special use permit for liquor sales to be denied. The special use permit for liquor sales was first denied by the Will County Board March 21st, 2013. Those members that voted no and denied it were Harris, Trainier, Baelish, Ferry, Winfrey, Brooks, Frisolone, Wilhelmi, Moran, Weigel, Mustis, Ogala, Hart, Collins, McDermott, Gould, Freitag, Goodson, Bible, Rice, and Izzo. This development currently has fueling for auto and truck, a convenience store, drive-up and inside Dunkin' Donuts sales, car wash, 16 vacuums, dispensing of propane, and if that's not enough, now the petitioner wants to sell liquor inside the store. The hardships of the current development have impacted our traffic, noise, safety, and all that has now also negatively impacted the values and the marketability of our homes, the abutting properties. The addition of a liquor store will add more hardships, such as additional parking problems, moral conflicts, more traffic, additional truck traffic from the deliveries of the liquor, and additional safety concerns. Concerns regarding traffic have been ignored, even though the Frankfort Township Highway Commissioner had addressed his concerns. It has been mentioned in the staff analysis that the development has signs for the trucks, the signs that direct them to Harlem Avenue instead of the neighborhood. But who is watching this? I myself have witnessed trucks traveling west on Lakeside Drive into the neighborhood. I have also witnessed truck fueling tankers traveling west on Lakeside Drive. That is where bus stops pick up children. That is where children play. That is where our children and our families should feel safe in our homes, on our properties. Where is the traffic study? And also, what is an acceptable threshold for traffic? Parking. I've seen the parking lot crowded with cars and trucks. Last night, you should have received an email from me showing you pictures of trucks backing up, trucks blocking sidewalks, and a truck being left idling in the street. I have read that the Will County ordinance has a parking ordinance, yet the staff does not address the numerous businesses at this location, as I mentioned, and it does not address the addition for additional parking spots. We are concerned that this will cause parking problems, and because of the yellow curb in front of the establishment along 194th and Lakeside Drive, we fear that now the patrons are going to have to park in front of our houses. How is the addition of a liquor store helping and adding to the community? Does the income of a sin tax on liquor really outweigh your homeowners and constituents? In addition, a liquor store to this development is inappropriate for the community. Last night, you should have received an email from my husband, Glenn Arnold, and that has information in regards to underage sale of liquor at 2 of the gas and washes that were obtained during a sting. If I may take a moment to read his email. He, in his email, included a report from the Illinois Liquor Control Commission. That commission is a sting and they do random checks and on the sale of packaged liquor. And the Mokina Gas and Wash failed a check in December of 2014. In November of 2018, the Alcohol Countermeasure Enforcement Patrol of the Illinois State Police arrested a Kankakee Gas and Wash employee for unlawful delivery of alcohol to a minor. Both of these instances were discovered during a sting-type operation. The communities have no way of knowing how many other instances of underage buying have occurred at any of the gas and wash establishments on any given day. But is it unreasonable to believe that these are the only 2 instances? We feel that this is not properly protecting the health, safety, morals of the communities that it serves. Also, I wish to point out that this information was discovered through a simple Google search of publicly available information. I would be interested to know what other information would be discovered if we had proper access to state reports. Please do not allow additional traffic, additional issues to affect our community. I would like to take a moment to share my gratitude in the time that we've been able to speak in front of you, and we thank you for your time. I appreciate the speech that Mr. Tumanello gave in regards to core principles, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Arnold. We have now Cass Winland, followed by Andy Tess.
Morning, members. Cass Winland here, attorney on behalf of the applicant, Larry McHenry. We heard a lot of objections of the neighbors. We had objectors, those same objectors last time Mr. McHenry did when he came forward. And I'd like to remind the board that these folks bought next to property that was zoned for a gas station. These objectors objected when Mr. McHenry came before this board and asked to add a drive-through and a car wash. I understand that they're angry. I understand that they're objecting to this, that those uses that they opposed are there now. In the end, here's the decision. You follow your ordinance, the recommendations of your professional staff and your planning and zoning commission, and you make the decision based on planning and legal reasons, or you make the decision based upon anger and retribution for what happened in the past. This meets the requirements of your ordinance. Your professional staff and planners said so. So ultimately, this board has to make that legislative decision. And each of you has to have your reasons for doing that. What happened last time should not affect what happens this time. The fact that this station exists, the fact that past uses were turned down by this board but now exist legally, should not be taken into account. You should make your decisions based on the planning reasons and the legal reasons, not based on political considerations, not based on retribution.
David, Andy Tess.
Good morning, my name is Andy Tess, and I am a resident. Petitioner has indicated there's no lawful reason for the denial of the special use permit. The law is, will the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the special use permits be detrimental to and endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, and general welfare of the community? This is the criteria of law for the special use permits designed to protect the adjacent community. When this all started, every governing body around this facility objected to it. Tinley Park, Frankfort Township Road Commissioner, Frankfort Township, everybody. The petitioner, prior to building, had a contract to purchase the property on the basis that 4 special use permits would be allowed. You denied that. Petitioner built the property anyway. We, the board, you agreed, various government bodies around us agreed it was a hazard to the community. In spite of the objections, the petitioner built this facility, and he modeled it after his truck stop on 88th and 191st Street. Petitioner, within a year after building the properties, applied to the state gaming permit, to the Illinois state for a gaming license as a truck stop. A year later, petitioner again applied to Will County for special use permits for a drive-through and car wash, again the land use, and this board rejected the special use permits. Two where he asked for. Petitioner filed lawsuits challenging the board's decision, claiming that 3 members were pressured into changing their votes. Defendants were the board and one of the senior board members. As reported by the Daily Southtown, and this is where it gets confusing because if you read the Daily Southtown's accounts what was decided didn't necessarily match what was testified. Only one of the 5 residents that boarded the property were allowed to testify. I don't know why the other 4 didn't. Nor the dozens of other homeowners, 100 I believe, Sandy said, testified, were allowed to testify. A real estate appraiser indicated petitioner's property values would be impaired without the special use permits. However, the court was told that it was not told that the petitioner had been denied the special use permit and bought the property anyway. The 3 board members who claimed they were coerced said they weren't. Quotes, not influenced at all. Not the case. Yet, the court ruled in the petitioner's favor, claiming that your vote was arbitrary and capricious. One of the most questionable and pertinent comments came from petitioner's attorney, who said, liquor sales, quote, liquor, this is out of the South Town, liquor sales or video gaming, which are part of Mr. McCurdy's other locations, are not part of this plan. I'm going to repeat that. He said they were interested in the liquor license in court. It's no wonder the court ruled in favor of the plan. It had been granted a drive-through and car wash. Later, the petitioner filed to annex to Tinley Park because of the refusal of the liquor licenses here. And Tinley Park, after listening to all sides, said, we want no part of this. Now petitioner has refiled a request here for a liquor license that he said wasn't going to be a part of his plan. And your land use committee listened to the arguments and said no. Now, by granting this special use permit, the petitioner is automatically eligible to go to the state for a gaming license. And I guarantee, and I can guarantee you, because life and death are not the only things that are guaranteed, but you heard it here first. If you allow him a special use permit for liquor, the next thing he's going to ask for is the license. Second door open. Once he has the permit, he'll go to the state and ask for a gaming license. Then he'll come back to you and ask you for a gaming license. So you're not looking at just one item. You're looking at 3 different steps. The liquor license, a gaming license, and then liquor license, liquor permit, and then finally a gaming license. Granting this special use permit will only increase the 750 to 1,000 cars and trucks that now use the facility. And those estimates came from the petitioner himself. Right now, somebody mentioned Slurpee. Our kids, in order to get to the station to buy a Slurpee, have to walk in front of the truck pad. There is no sidewalk other than 2 that take them directly to where the trucks enter and exit. No other way to get there. During the last board meeting, I had a board member say he saw no difference between a permit to a liquor store in a strip mall and a gas station. And I've got to agree, it's a valid point. But I want to go back to a number of years ago when I made a point that was similar, because it was a case up north where a strip joint had opened up next to a convent. And it was legal, and it was known, but was it right? Lastly, we ask you to stand with your constituents and send a clear message that your actions and vote are not arbitrary and capricious, and come as close as possible to a unanimous no vote. It just doesn't fit this location situation and will further injure the community. We've got 100 people who have signed a new petition that say it has affected us. 1,000 cars down our streets has affected us. The property values have increased. We have seen additional crime. Everything that your special use permit was supposed to protect us against was taken away by one man. Don't make it worse for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Test. Is anyone wishing to speak on this case that did not sign up? Then for case ZC 18083, we have several people signed up. Mr. Yap, followed by Ms. Holwell. George Yap. Followed by Dawn Hallwell.
Madam Speaker, I ask a question. It's my understanding that item 3 is going to be tabled from today's land use. Essentially. Is that the case? If that's the case, then we might want to inform the residents that there will be no formal action taken on this issue.
On which one?
On, I believe on ZC 18-083.
That is correct. The applicants have requested that be tabled. I don't know, since I mean we can't guarantee that it's going to be tabled. I don't know. That would be a question for the state's attorney, I think.
I understand that.
I'm sorry, the question was?
Well, Ray had asked, since the applicants had requested that like ZC's 18083 be tabled so they can work with the residents to address some of the concerns that have come up. I think Ray was at.
I was kind of insinuating that, you know, if there's going to be 4 or 5 individuals, 20, 30 minutes worth of testimony, and if it's going to be pulled off the agenda, we might want to inform them that it might be a better use of their time if they come back on the day if it does come back to this board.
Thank you.
There's not necessarily a need to have a second public hearing, so this would be the time for the residents to speak, and there's no...
Sorry, Mary.
So first of all, there's no guarantee it will be tabled, and second, there's not necessarily a need for a second public hearing. It's been published for a public hearing today, and unless something changes, this would be their opportunity to speak, even though a vote may occur at a later meeting.
So then they would not have the opportunity.
Not necessarily have the, right,
Okay.
so they should go forward right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would say we need to let these developers know if they are going to do something like this, they shouldn't be doing this the day before. These people take time off from work or whatever they're up to come here and speak, and they sound like they're going to be all cooperative and work with the residents. If they're that cooperative, why don't they let these people know that they have to show up? So I think you should speak.
Thank you. Mr. Yap? Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, the last meeting, the gentleman didn't speak either, so I don't know how interested he is. Because I recommended that we don't change it from R2 to C3. The neighborhood and does not need any more. This is not a good location for a strip mall. There's enough strip malls in the area that are either half empty or empty. And his proposal also says something about, it had at one time 2 ways in, now I guess it's just got 1 way in. The congestion that this corner is already totally congested. Thank goodness we got a street sign, the stoplights in there, that did help out. But he's right off the road of Route 6 and Parker, and when they do what they're going to do to Route 6, widen it even more. And same thing with, I don't know what they got intended to Park Road. I know they're going to put a street light down at Francis, so it's more traffic, more congestion, and his proposal also shows that he is going to have a, I don't know, some kind of treatment plant for sewage on there. And he's got a retention pond proposed in the area, but the retention pond is whatever it shows where his sewage treatment plant is going to be, which is in the back of the property, and it's in back of the retention. All that water that flows down from above goes through it's going to go through the retention, which is wonderful. He's got a pond there, but it's going to flow right into the area where he's proposing to his sewage field. So I don't think that's going to work out too good for this individual. And the people next to him, he's going to probably help flood their property some more than what it already is also. There's no room for parking. There's also, I was reading in here, it seems that is there a possibility that he could have residents of this piece of property? It seemed like they did not rule it out, and I don't think we need residents above the property. So my recommendation is just no. We don't need it there. Also, there's a liquor store across the street. That liquor store, we didn't vote it in, and it showed up. So it's been there for a number of years, but it's also been robbed, and I believe this is just going to add to more, because it's out in the middle of nowhere. This is just going to add to more possibilities of bad people coming in and doing bad things. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Howell.
My name is Dawn Howell, and I live at 186-15 Parker Road. It's 2 parcels north of where this property is located. The rear of this property wraps around my neighbor's house, which is 186-35, and it butts on the side of our home and directly in front of our farm. So when he's talking sewage field, it would be directly behind their house and in front of our farm. So a commercial driveway entrance, they only have one entrance coming in, and it's on Parker. So all traffic would have to flow north. That driveway entrance would be located less than 200 feet from our driveway. You know, given they only have one driveway access directly, it's going to provide congestion down the corner, making it difficult to access residential driveways and even the subdivisions. We have concerns over drive-through. They're talking drive-through because they had mentioned Starbucks as well as potential commercial bank. Safety, lighting, noise, loss of trees, devalue of our home. Additionally, it would bring the character and rural setting of the community.
Thank you. Courtney Cobb, followed by Eldon Urbikus. Is that right?
Hi, I'm Courtney Cobb. I live at 18742 Tammy Drive. I'm the southeast corner, and my backyard was at the side of this property. And one thing I want to point out, when I bought our property, the property that's looking for the amendment was residential. I already knew the liquor store was there. However, everything else was zoned either agricultural or residential. And my main reason for moving here was because of the rural setting. I have almost an acre of land, and I appreciate having that space to myself. One thing that we had noticed, just even from IDOT widening Route 6, was the amount of congestion that it caused traffic coming through our subdivision. We are unincorporated. We do not have sidewalks, and we had cars going over 50 miles an hour while our kids were waiting at the bus stops. This was a huge issue. I imagine this would do the same since we're looking at the exact same intersection. And we had to call many times to Will County, and finally we put a sign up to block it, but we still had people going over 50 miles an hour down our non-sidewalk subdivision. Other things that we had looked at were regarding even as of May 16th of 2018, this property was already listed as commercial on the RE/MAX website, as well as Redfin and many others, already zoned on the instruction as commercial. This is still residential. They weren't even submitting an application yet for this property to become commercial, and it was listed. It was listed at $189,000. Since we started all of these meetings, on April 8th, the price went from $189,000 to $550,000. So right now, active on a website for this location saying it's commercially zoned, it's now $550,000 for that property. So that's concerning to us because we're under the impression that there's a proposed plan for this. The strip mall, even though we don't want that, now we're leaving it up to that it can become anything if it's zoned to commercial, because obviously his intention is not to build on it, however, just to sell it to make a buck. Other things that have come up, if he's selling it for this retail location, was brought up that he had mentioned to us at the April 4th meeting that it could potentially be a green, white, and black business, Starbucks. We had already talked about how within 4 miles of our home, we have 3 Starbucks. We're a rural subdivision. We don't need more Starbucks. He's also said that this is what's best for the community. Our community has been very vocal, as well as sending emails, calling. The majority of our neighbors that sent emails then forwarded me the response that they got, so I know that people sent them. We do not want this to be commercial for many of the reasons that were already said, as well as we're concerned over the safety of the infrastructure over there. We do know in the future there is a plan to widen the streets even more. IDOT has said that, and they do show it on there. So our concern is truly over safety on the infrastructure of how much protection they already have. We see the role of office or retail space as it should meet a community need. Currently, our community need is easily met with the retail commercial opportunities on Route 30, Lincoln Highway, which is less than 4 miles away. Per the 2018 Comprehensive Plan in New Lenox, it is encouraging commercial in designated areas. In their plan, the 8 land use designations show our location surrounded by the color yellow for single-family residential. Their plan for commercial is in downtown New Lenox, near Silver Cross Hospital and Laraway Station District. Although we have shared many concerns, our greatest concern is still safety. Even with the road being widened, we're concerned that during peak hours with a single access point, that will disrupt the flow of traffic, and that we believe that changing this parcel zoning from R2 to C2 would not be in the best interest for our community or for the New Lenox Comprehensive Plan 2018. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Good morning. My name is Alden Verbickus. I live just north of this parcel. I first would like to address the staff report regarding this property. The staff report notes that the New Lenox Comprehensive Plan dated 2018 has this area for single-family residential. The area surrounding this location is 99.9% rural residential, and minimum lot sizes for homes are normally a minimum of 1 acre, with the majority being 5 acres along with numerous 10 and 20 acre parcels. Additionally, there are numerous large agricultural parcels which are actively being farmed. Acre for acre, square mile for square mile, there is more agricultural and estate zone properties which still classify this area as rural or rural residential. The staff report also refers to the suburban community development, the development form, which has several principles. One of those principles states that a commercial building should serve residents in an area with a radius of 1 to 3 miles. However, as already stated, there are already numerous choices and options within a 3-mile radius of this location with New Lenox commercial areas to the south and west, Homer Township and Lockport to the north and west, and Orland Park and Mokina to the south and east. Another principle of this report calls for the commercial building to be compatible with surrounding residential area regarding to scale, construction, and materials used. That being the case, a commercial structure would be severely restricted in its size, and the construction costs would also be restricted for a building to be compatible with these homes in the area. While circulating petitions regarding this situation, my conversation with local residents and my neighbors, they stated that they found no need for a strip mall or commercial area with second-floor residences at the Route 6 and Parker location, which a C2 zoning designation could allow. Additionally, if the structure were to contain residential units, it certainly would not meet the compliance with the features of the homes in the area. Everybody's purpose for living in this area is to avoid commercial areas. Nobody who lives here has a problem with getting in their car, driving 2, 3, 4 miles to get what they need. As far as the petitioner talked about a doctor's office, the hospital is a mile away. There are numerous buildings going up at the hospital for doctor's offices. The petitioner submitted a second plan, and that was also found. The first plan was non-compliant, the second plan is non-compliant, and the lot, if you look at the lot, it's a very unorthodox sized lot. There's no way a building could be built there that would serve any purpose as far as parking, stuff like that. The petitioner has said and listed in his real estate listings that he has a negotiated contract with ComEd, which is directly east of this property for parking. That's not true. ComEd will not give a lease to someone to park under the power lines. Additionally, under the power lines are high-pressure gas lines. So that's not true. Okay? There are numerous commercial vacant spaces for lease or rental, New Lenox, Mokina, and Orland Park. Now I'd like to talk about the safety of the situation. There have been several plans suggested for this by this developer. There is no access to this property from Route 6. The last plan says that the only way in and out would be on Parker Road from the going northbound and exiting northbound. Okay, so I don't know if any of you live anywhere where there are situations like this, but north of this location is residential driveways, 185th Street, 184th Street. We don't have sidewalks or anything like that in the area, so kids are playing in their driveways. So as people pull out of this parking, this situation here, this development, if approved, they're going to go north on Parker Road. Okay, but they're going to want to go back to 6 or back south on Parker Road. Where are they going to go? They're going to be pulling in people's driveways to turn around. Pulling back out on Parker Road, which is a very dangerous situation because the speed limit's 45 miles an hour. And particularly in the summertime, motorcycles, it's a highly motorcycle traveled road. In the mornings and evenings, it's all landscapers on their way to and from work. So this is really a terrible, terrible situation that is a possibility. And children play in these driveways. Last, trying to keep it brief, ladies and gentlemen. At the first meeting we appeared at, I believe it was April 9th, the petitioner was here. He made some noise about Starbucks. Starbucks isn't going to come there. It doesn't meet their qualifications for property, for egress and access and property. There's also some issues with the listings as far as the way things are worded. And at the last meeting, Mr. Glasgow, I asked that your representative take a look into some of these misrepresentations. He testified under oath here, said some things that I think are borderline criminal, and I would ask you to take that into consideration along with the fact that would you want something like this on your block where cars are pulling into your driveway to turn around to get back to where they need to be? I think not. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to address them. If not, thank you so much for your time and participation.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on ZC 18083 who is not signed up? The next case is ZC 18088, which I believe is set to be removed, but we do have speakers signed up, starting with Cheryl Sedlak, followed by Lester Sonoras, and then James Sonoras.
This applicant has withdrawn their application, so I don't know if...
They've withdrawn their application.
Why don't we notify?
No, they're tabling it.
No, this one, they removed this one, the applicant withdrew their application.
Why was there any notification of that?
We have 3 people signed up for a case that's going to be removed. The applicant has withdrawn. Did you still wish to speak?
So can you just elaborate on what it means that it's been withdrawn?
They're no longer
They're
pursuing.
no longer
We're no
pursuing.
longer pursuing the application.
So it's dead?
From my view, this case is dead,
At
yes.
this point, yes.
That particular application.
What is their next choice?
Where would they go from here if they,
They would have to reapply. I don't know if somebody from land use or Jim has something to say, but this case is completely dead, so they would just have to come back and start from the beginning if they come back.
Reapplication starting at the beginning.
When would the reapplication happen?
That's up to the applicants.
Is there a deadline?
Brian, hold on, I'll have somebody from land use.
Good morning. The applicant withdrew their application earlier this week, so they have a couple of choices. They could choose to reapply at a later time, or they could build as originally intended, or they could choose to do nothing at all. But this proposal is now dead.
So no, don't wish to speak right now. Waste your time.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, do you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, many of these cases, the applicants apply, the purchase is contingent on them getting the zoning or getting, PU, in this case, the PUD altered. So I assume that this particular applicant is just not going to go forward with the purchase of the property. That would be my guess. I don't know, I assume nobody's here from the applicant, but it means he's not going forward with this development. And therefore, probably not even doing the purchase, but check out the purchase.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, when these types of situations occur and they withdraw, is it possible for us to be notified and perhaps to amend the agenda prior to the day of the meeting so there isn't so much confusion? And would we ever notify the public during that?
Thank you. The agenda is set, and there are some restrictions for us amending the agenda within a certain time period. So depending on how early we get that notice, we may or may not be able to amend the agenda. But yes, it does create some confusion on the day of. The next case in the public hearing is CC 19083. We have Loris Blackwood, signed up, and also Scott Blackwood signed up to speak.
Just so everybody is aware, they've also requested that that one be tabled. In this case, we get tabled also.
With Blackwood, this one is also, has been requested for table. You still have the opportunity to speak if you so wish.
Good morning. My name is Lori Blackwood, and Scott Blackwood, and I believe the zoning case is ZC 19003.
Yes.
At this point, although we have not received any objections at any point along the approval process, the staff recommendations include approving our special use permit with 14 different conditions. We have recently become much more involved in researching what these conditions are. We have a few concerns with a couple of the conditions that they're asking, and so that is why we were asking for it to be, the vote to be tabled for another month so that we could do proper research, I guess, on our end. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to present what our concerns are at this point, or they specifically involve conditions number 3 and 4. Most recently, yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. Since you're the ones who actually have the case, if you want to bring those to the land use committee, that would be great.
Bring those.
I just wanted to say that I would like to hear their concern. It may be something we can resolve here, or if we go forward to our meeting. So
regarding condition number 3, at the most recent approval on April 9th, we're researching specifically what's being asked. They're talking about submitting a permit for the commercial build-out of pole buildings. We're not asking to do anything different. The pole buildings exist, they've existed since we purchased the property in 2000. So I'm not really sure what this is going to involve. We've been in touch with an architect who's going to help us draw up plans of what exists now. Obviously, our biggest concern is that what's being asked of us isn't going to bankrupt us. You know, the building, we have been using the property since the year 2000 for the business. It is zoned agricultural. We basically were unaware that we were in violation of anything. So once we found out, we started the proper procedures. So that's the first one, is just to really find out what's being asked of that. We've been in touch with an architect who's been in touch with land use to figure out what that's requiring. The second concern we have is on item number 4, where it asked for us to a site plan, to submit a site plan meeting the requirements of the Will County zoning ordinance, and it must include screening of all outdoor storage by means of fence, wall, dense hedge, or combination of such features parallel to the western and southern property lines abutting the gravel lot area. We are bordered on the west side by farm fields for miles and miles. And we are doing the research. We've had to take down some trees because those farmers, through their use of pesticides or whatever, things get killed. And so we've already had to take down some trees. So the only option, if it's granted like this, would have to be a wall or a fence. If we put up a fence, the first estimate we got was minimally $7,500 to put up a fence to block our outdoor storage from a farm field. There's no neighbors. And so our question is really, why is that required when there's nobody looking at what's being stored on the outdoors? So those are our 2 concerns. Thank you.
Let me say you recognize me?
Yes.
Let me say this, regardless, and I'm going to ask staff this, but on bringing those pole barns to a commercial standard, regardless of the zoning, I think you're going to be required to do that. I mean, it's based on how you're using those buildings, but I would ask staff, do they have to bring, whether this goes forward or not, would you require them to bring those buildings up to commercial standards? I'm just wondering, if I could ask staff to get that on the record, because you may be required to do that regardless. You know, once they become aware of the situation, they would have to pursue it.
Well, and in talking to, getting some preliminary views, I mean, it's been told that, I might even have to tear the building down and rebuild it.
Well, that may be the case, but then you would be required to do that regardless.
To answer your question, Board Member Mistis, yes, the commercial building code, if applicable, will be required whether or not it was a condition or not. So it's depending on the use that's occurring in the building, and we'll review that with the applicant. If this goes forward, and then we can look at what use it is, and the building will have to be designed for whatever the use is.
If it doesn't go forward, you would still require that building to come up to commercial code, right?
Either that, or it couldn't be used for the type of commercial use that's being used for now.
Okay, so I think you need to be aware that regardless you go forward, you're going to have to make some changes to those buildings, or change the use of buildings. So
this is a similar condition and similar example that we've come across in the past, and I've never seen a building have to be teared down because of trying to meet the code. Usually they're able to make the changes, and those changes are inspected, and the building is eventually approved and occupancy is given for commercial purposes.
I just thought you should.
Wait, did you comment on the fence at all about the west side? I wanted Brian to comment on the condition number 4, the west end of the fence. Why you guys added that condition initially.
Janine, can I have you answer that?
Rob, while you're standing there on the screenings, we have a particular, within our ordinance, all outdoor storage, regardless of where you're at, our code requires screening, correct?
Depending on the zoning district, there's different requirements for screening, and there's different options. It could include a fence, it could be landscaping, so there's different ways to comply with the code, but I'll let Janine speak specifically to this.
Thank you, yes. As Brian mentioned, outdoor storage has to be screened for these types of uses, so that outdoor storage includes things like the vehicle parking lot, the company vehicles that are being used, and that is where we're requiring the screening, is where that parking lot area is to surround it.
Amanda? I just wanted to ask, I know that it's a complaint-driven process and somebody's in violation. So if somebody were to, they were to build all this and say this is our plan, but not implement the screening, and nobody complained about it, would it be something that would come later, let's say a subdivision or something comes into this agricultural area, would at that point it become a problem? And maybe not beforehand?
Sure, so the condition's on there now, so the board would have to remove that condition and say that it's not necessary. But they would be violating the zoning ordinance, so we're mimicking what's already in the ordinance and putting it on as a condition currently.
Jim?
So here again, I'm addressing the applicants here. That outdoor storage requirement, you're going to have to meet regardless. If the zoning doesn't go forward, you're still going to have to meet the code. So
my understanding, does it really matter that we shouldn't even request it being tabled then?
Correct.
Well, what I'm saying, what I'm saying is that I didn't, quite frankly, I don't even know why it's a condition based on you're required to do it by ordinance. So it's required. You have to do it, regardless if it's a condition. Now, I think it winds up a condition, so everybody kind of is informed this is going to happen. You're going to be required to do those two items. So, I don't think you need to delay it unless you just decide you're not going forward. It doesn't sound that likely. So your business has been there for some time. And it seems the area supports it. This basically more or less bring you into compliance. Correct. For what you really go on. Okay.
Other questions?
Yeah,
I guess then we don't do Thursday.
I just wanted to confirm or not if you were planning on tabling it.
I guess what I'm hearing is that it's not necessary.
Okay, and then just a brief comment. I do appreciate you guys coming here though, even if you were to table it, because I think that's important that we as a board understand and hear directly from you guys what the issues are so that we can solve them. So thank you so much for coming down and
Thanks for hearing it.
confirming that. Thank you.
So is anyone else wishing to speak on any of the zoning cases? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on any of the zoning cases? Any members of the public wishing to speak on the zoning cases? Public hearing is now closed.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Yes.
Sizzle.
Yes.
Odala. Yes. Summers.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Moran.
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Rainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Yes. Mueller.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Couch.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker. Yes. Ventura.
Yes.
Stolinger. Yes. Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Chivinello.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Karlitis.
Yes.
And Woodson.
Yes.
26 affirmative.
Mr. Markham?
First up, we have zoning case ZC-18-059, which is a special use permit for ancillary liquor services in conjunction with allowed agritourism use in Lockport Township. PZC approved 5-0, land use approved at 6-0, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Previous roll?
Second.
Second, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next up, we have zoning case ZC-18-082 for Lenny's Food and Fuel on Harlem Avenue. They're requesting a special use permit for packaged liquor sale. PZC approves 6-1 with 2 conditions, and land use and development voted 2-4, thereby denying it. What Sun's motions have been made in the positive, I'll make a motion to approve ZC 18-082.
Roll call, please.
We have a couple hands. Mr. Weigel?
I'd like to make a comment. I think there's no need for additional liquor sales in this area. There's an abundance among the liquor stores. And the residents in the area have spoken. I believe they're mostly opposed to this. So I will be voting no against it. Thank you.
I'd like to make a couple comments on this. You know, the neighbors have been pretty diligent, and I thought they were pretty articulate in why they objected to it and object to it in the public hearing. And even though that zoning had zoning that a gas station could be built, all the special uses were not part of the property. And you know, quite frankly, I think the judge had a bias when he ruled on the other one, but you know, it's done is done. I do believe when you look at the criteria for special use, you have to look and say, does it negatively affect the property, adjoining property's values? Does it somehow inhibit folks from enjoying their property? And in this case, I think that the addition of liquor sales in this particular location would add to that, devaluing their property and inhibiting the full use and enjoyment of their property. I would ask this board, and I'm not going to repeat, the residents who came gave testimony in the public hearing, I think said it pretty well. Mr. Weigel pointed out there is a high concentration of liquor licenses, county liquor licenses in this area, not just municipalities, county liquor licenses. Certainly, the public has ample opportunity to buy adult beverages within the area. It adds nothing to the community. I think that when we look at zoning, there should be some community benefit also. This provides no community benefit adding liquor to this location. The other point I think needs to be made, and it's a dilemma I believe that the board is going to continue to be in as we look at processes, and that is there is no liquor license available, none. I don't know what this, and there's a specific classification for gas stations, C1. It's only for gas stations. And I can tell you, being, I guess, the most senior member on this board, that past boards made a very conscious decision to limit liquor sales in gas stations, and their intention was to never. I believe the intent was that we have this set number of liquor licenses for gas stations, and that they would not expand it, and they would expect future boards to not expand those licenses available to gas stations. Now, the dilemma is if you give special use, I guess they urge in the court and say, well, they gave me special use, they're going to give me liquor. Now, you have to give me the liquor license because you approved the special use. And I think it should be made clear, and I guess I will address this a little bit to the state's attorney for comment. I think it should be made clear to applicants who are applying for special use that if there is no liquor license available, they're not going to get one unless the board decides to add a liquor license, which they have no legal obligation to do. Because I believe, you know, I haven't actually heard that from the state's attorney, but I think, you know, we have to make it clear. There is no obligation of this board to issue a liquor license if we grant special use. All it says that one becomes available, you can apply. You know, I've never heard that definitively that would be the case. So I would respectfully ask all my colleagues here at the county board, but this is my district, mine and Amanda Cook's district. We have continually, I've dealt with this particular thing for over 8 years now, or close to 8 years. You know, the residents have been steadfast in their views and objections to this. I represent the folks that live in my district. I represent the people. And occasionally, if I think they're wrong, I tell them, oh, you're wrong, and there's, you know, you have to look at it in a different light. But in this particular case, I think the residents are correct in their beliefs that this affects their property value, it affects their use of their property, and I would ask this board to deny or vote no.
Hi, thank you for all the residents for coming out. I just have a few quick comments before we make a vote on this. I did submit paperwork early on talking about the overabundance of liquor licenses in this area. In fact, Mr. McHenry has 2 within a 2-mile radius of this establishment that we're talking about today. So the many residents who spoke out against, there's been a sign in the window of this establishment for several months telling residents if they would like a liquor license to please email me. It has my county board email, and I've received one in several months versus several residents against. I feel like we're here to listen to the residents. I do agree that another use beyond those already stacked onto this property will negatively impact the quality and value of the homes that are adjacent to this. So as this is my district as well, I would also ask my colleagues to vote no on this today. Thank you.
Last
One minute, did anybody second that? I didn't hear it. There's a second.
Yeah, there was a second, for a roll call vote.
Okay, I just didn't hear you. I just wanted to make sure.
Ferry.
Yeah, no.
Sloan.
No.
Odella. No. Summers.
No.
Cook.
No.
Eustace.
No.
Moran.
Yes.
Rice. No. Harris.
Yes.
Trainier.
Can you come back?
Fritz. No. Mueller. No. Gould.
No.
Van Dyne.
No.
Balch.
Yes.
Brooks.
No.
Parker. No. Ventura.
No.
Dollinger. No. Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
No.
Cowan.
No.
Tumanello.
No.
Weigel.
No.
Corlitis.
No.
Winfrey. Trainier.
Yes.
Five affirmative, 21 negative.
Motion is denied.
Next, we have case DC 18-083, requesting a map amendment from R2 to C2. As previously stated, the applicant has requested that we table this so they can address some of the concerns that were brought up by land use and by residents. So I'll make a motion to table.
Previous roll.
Hold on, I want to discuss this.
We have a motion and a table, there is discussion. Ms. Ventura?
Yeah,
Discussion on a motion to table.
Point of order.
True, very true. It is tabled.
We need a roll call because we don't have a clean.
I want to discuss tabling. Can I not?
You can't, you don't discuss a motion to table. There's no opportunity to discuss that.
It's done.
Barry?
Yes.
Islam?
Yes.
Gonzalez? Yes. Summers?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Eustace? Moran?
Yes.
Rice?
I just want to confirm, this is just the vote to table?
Yes.
No.
Harris?
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Fritz? Yes. Mueller?
Yes.
Gould?
No.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Delich?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Parker? Yes. Ventura?
No.
Dollinger? Yes. Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz?
Yes.
Cowan? Yes. Tumanello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Prolitis?
Yes.
And Winfrey?
Yes.
23 affirmative, 3 negative.
That is tabled. Mr. Markham?
Next up, we have zoning case ZC-18-088, which is a special use permit for a major amendment of planned unit development. As mentioned earlier, this was, application was withdrawn by the applicant, so I will make a motion to remove this from the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Well, does anybody want to change my vote? Yes. I changed my aye. For that. Yes, I want to do yes. For this vote.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Yes. Next up, we have zoning case ZC-19-003, which is a special use permit for a landscaping and lawn maintenance business in Manhattan Township. Land use and development approved 5-0, and I so move.
Second.
So then, really quick, the applicant also requested that we, that they have a little bit more time, so I would make a motion to amend this to allow conditions 2 and 3 every 12 months instead of 6 months.
2 and 3
I'll
or 3 and
second
4?
It was 2 and 3. I believe were the
I thought it was 3 and 4.
Was it 3 and 4 that had more?
It gives a little extra time.
Okay, the 3 and 4 then. Whichever one say, wherever it says 6 months, move it to 12 months.
Just a question, can they apply for a variance to having that fence up? Maybe even a temporary variance until they have neighbors? Is that
I
possible?
believe that our ordinance does not allow for that.
You can't,
But we already have, that's a different question.
yeah.
So,
What was that issue?
I was just,
Mayor allows so where the variance can be applied for one of the conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we can amend it,
He
right?
said that's not something that have a variance.
Right, our ordinance does not allow for that. So, where we are now is we have a motion and a second for the amendment.
Which is conditions 2 and 3. I confirmed with staff. It's 2 and 3.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, then I'll make a motion to approve ZC-19-003 as amended.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
All right, next up we have resolution 19-88, amending section 155-3.30 for accessory structure height, and section 155-18.10 for building height measurement of the Will County zoning ordinance, and I so move.
Second.
Previous roll.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next up, we have 19-89, amending section 155-16.40 for special use permits of the Will County zoning ordinance. And I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Previous roll.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, and then just to finish up, Land Use had requested me to make an announcement that they are doing a fair housing survey for residential and real estate professionals, which can be found on their website. Our next Land Use and Development Committee meeting is scheduled for May 14th at 10:30 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Next up is Finance Committee, Mr. Harris.
Good morning, Speaker Winfrey, county board members, and all in attendance. First item on the Finance Committee is a few reports I need to put on file. First one is a report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of January 2019 to be $1,925,182.12. The RTA received tax received is $2,287,993.50 for a total of $4,213,175.62. I so move.
Previous roll. Second.
We have a motion and a second, the previous roll and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
The next item is the Will County Monthly Treasury Report dated February 28, 2019 from the Will County Treasurer Tim Brophy. I so move.
Second. There's a motion by Harris, second by Mueller. Previous roll was Tyler. And a second by Sogala. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I have a resolution 19-90. This is appropriating grant funds in the Workforce Service Division 2019 budget. I so move.
Second.
Previous roll.
Second. Motion by Harris, second by Dollinger. Previous roll by Markham. Second by Ogalla. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next resolution is 19-91. This is authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents for the delinquent tax program. I so move.
Second. Motion by Mr. Harris, second by Ms. Summers.
Previous roll.
Previous roll by Mr. Frizzolo, second by Mr. Tuminello. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for May 7, 2019 at 10:00 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. We have Public Works and Transportation, Mr. Moran.
Good morning.
Morning.
Seems like it's been a long morning already.
Yes.
We have several resolutions to consider this morning, the first of which is 19-92, confirming award of contract to Iroquois Paving Corporation for $730,659.57, led on March 20, 2019, following Goodnell Road, County Highway 23 from Illinois 50 east to the Moline Township Creek Township line, and from Illinois 1 west, 170 feet, County Board District 1, and I so move.
Second. Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Summers. Previous roll by Ms. Ogalla. Second by Mr. Frizzolo. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Number 2, 19-93, improvement by county under the Illinois Highway Code for Paul and Goodnell Road, County Highway 23, from Illinois 50 east to Moline Township, Creek Township line, and the Illinois 1 west 170 feet, County Board District 1, using motor fuel tax funds, $750,000. And I so move.
Second. Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Summers.
Previous roll.
Roll by Ms. Ogalla, second by Mr. Markham. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Number 3, 19-94, confirming award of contract to Austin Tyler Construction Incorporated for $92,292.30 on March 20th, 2019 Manhattan Road District Overlay, County Board District 2, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Moran.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cowan.
Previous roll.
Previous roll by Mr. Markham.
Second.
Second by Ms. O'Gara. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Number 4, 19-95, confirming award of contract to Deconstruction Incorporated, $266,844, led on March 20th, 2019, Shanahan Road District, Canal Road Drainage Improvements, County Board District Number 6, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Moran.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dollinger.
Previous.
Previous roll by Mr. Van Dyne.
Second.
Second by Mr. Markham. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Number 5, 19-96, confirming award of contract to Tri-State Asphalt Limited Liability Corporation, $57,000, led on March 20th, 2019, Florence Road District, County Board District 6, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Gould.
Previous roll.
Previous roll by Mr. Tunnell.
Second.
Second by Mr. Van Dyne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Number 6, 19-97, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement for design engineering services, Phase 2, with Trans Systems for road and appurtenance work on Arsenal Road, County Highway 17, from Baseline Road to Magnolia Lane, County Board District 6, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Gould. Previous roll by Ms. Dollinger.
Second.
Second by Mr. Frizzolo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Number 7, 19-98, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services, Phase 1, with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated for Manhattan Money Road, County Highway 6, at Ridgeland Avenue, Section 19-00040-12-CH, County Board District 1, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Summers. Previous roll by Ms. O'Gara. Second by Mr. Markham. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Number 8, 19-99, authorizing design engineering services Phase 1 by county under the Illinois Highway Code for Manhattan Money Road, County Highway 6 at Richland Avenue, using motor fuel tax funds, $390,843, County Board District 1, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Summers. Previous roll by Ms. O'Gara. Second by Ms. Mueller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And here we are, resolution number 100 for the year. 99-100, granting a variance for weather tech development on Weber Road, County Highway 88, County Board Districts 3 and 4, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Trenier. Previous roll by Ms. Rice. Second by Ms. Mueller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for May 2nd, 2019 at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Judicial Committee, Mr. Markham.
Hello again, everybody. I have 19-101, awarding bid for body armor for the Sheriff's Department, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Markham, second by Ms. Dollinger. Previous roll by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Mr. Brooks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Sorry, I can't make this committee long like the other one. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 7th at 9 a.m.
Thank you. Public Health and Safety, Ms. Summers.
Good morning. I have one report to be placed on file, which is the Will County Regional Office of Education quarterly report dated October 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2018, submitted by Dr. Sean Walsh, the Regional Superintendent of School.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Summers.
Second.
Second by Ms. Berkowitz. Previous roll by Mr. Politis. Second by Ms. Parker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And moving on, my resolution 19-102, awarding bid for housekeeping supplies for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Motion by Ms. Summers.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dollinger. Previous roll by Ms. Berkowitz. Second by Ms. Fritz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
2019-103, awarding bid for dietary and nursing products for Center Hill Nursing Home. And so moved.
Second. Motion by Ms. Summers, second by Mr. Mueller. Previous roll by Mr. Weigel. Second by Mr. Frizzolo. All those in favor?
Aye. Next public health and safety meeting is scheduled for May 1st, 2019 at 9:30 a.m. immediately following Forest Preserve meetings at the Forest Preserve District building.
Thank you. Thank you. Legislative and Policy Committee, Mr. Neer.
Good morning, everyone. It is still morning. We have one resolution for you to consider this morning, 19-104, supporting the concepts of Senate Bill 527. It amends the State Finance Act. And just for everybody's information that wasn't at committee, we were visited by our assessor, Rhonda Novak, and she gave us an update and complete details on why this bill is so important and the benefits that it will bring to us in terms of tax revenue for the property that is within the footprint of the airport.
Proposed. Motion by Mr. Neer, second by Ms. Summers. Previous roll by Ms. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Ballard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
We really appreciated Rhonda coming to educate us. Our next Legislative and Policy Committee meeting is scheduled for May 14th at 9 a.m. If anyone has any legislation or concerns that they would like us to address, please contact Beth Rice. She's the Vice Chair. She will be setting the agenda for next month's meeting. I will be out of the country. Enjoy Greece.
Thank you. With capital improvements, Mr. Brooks.
Good morning, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go quick. It's almost noon because my glue wears off my teeth at noon. So, see you at do you have the update? Capital improvement. I only have one resolution to bring forth, 19105, which is the Will County Executive to amend contract with HR Green Incorporated for design engineering services for the reconfigured surface parking lot located south of New Courthouse between Joliet, Ottawa Street, and Joliet, Illinois, and I so move.
Second. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Tominello. Previous roll by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Fritz. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Our next capital improvement meeting will be scheduled for May 7th, 9 a.m. Thank you very much.
It's 11.
Is that 11?
11.
Oh, 11 a.m.
New glasses, too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Executive Committee, Mr. Ferry.
Thank you, Speaker Winfrey. And good morning once again. We have 9 resolutions to present. First off, 19-106, authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Strand Associates, Inc. for a solar feasibility study, and I so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Martin.
Previous roll call.
Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tominello. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next is 19-107, in support of the demolition of the old courthouse, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Tominello. Previous roll by Ms. Fritz. Second by Ms. Dollinger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next is 19-108, authorizing emergency repairs to a 48-inch storm sewer along Wilmington-Peatone Road under CN Railroad in Peatone, Illinois.
Second. Motion by
And I
Mr.
so
Ferry. Thank you. Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Summers. Previous roll by Ms. O'Donnell. Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next, we have 19-109, rescinding resolution number 19-60, and authorizing approval of an IDOT County Intergovernmental Agreement for improvements on Manhattan Arsenal Road from Baseline Road to Magnolia Lane, County Board District 6, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Van Dyne, previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Frizzlone. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, next is Resolution 19-110, authorizing a one-year contract for the extension of telecommunications local and long-distance service, and I so move.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Cook, previous roll by Mr. Ballard, second by Mr. Weigel. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Next is 19-111, replacement hire for supervisor of assessments office, mapping clerk 2, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Parker, previous roll by Ms. Mueller, second by Ms. Cook. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Next is 19-112, replacement hire for supervisor of assessments office, real estate transfer declaration processor, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Markham, previous roll by Ms. Cook, second by Ms. Berkowitz. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Next is 19-113, replacement hire for land use department, building inspector, and I so move.
Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Ventura, previous roll by Ms. Summers, second by Ms. Cowan. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, next is the 19-114, replacement hires for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Second. Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Summers, previous roll by Ms. Ogalla, second by Ms. Berkowitz. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, the next executive committee meeting is scheduled for May 2nd, 2019 at 10 a.m. And now we have the appointments by the county executive, and I'm requesting approval for all April appointments for boards and commissions, and I so move.
Second. Motion by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Mueller, previous roll by Mr. Markham, second by Mr. Frizzlone. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Then we have a couple people for public comment. We have, looks like Skip Minger. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, we'll come down. Roots Across America. Followed by him will be Leon Osset.
Good morning. Could Ray Tuminello come down, please? My name is Skip Menger. I'm with the Lennox Fire Department as a trustee. I'm also a Vietnam veteran, and I'm chairman of Wreaths for Veterans in Lennox. 5 years ago, we started doing donations. There's 55,000 heroes buried at Abraham Lincoln Cemetery. It actually can hold up to 400,000. This year, there was about 23,000 wreaths bought, so we have a long ways to go before all the graves have wreaths. Just to give you an idea, there's about 70 burials a week ago. Our section is Section 6. Chief Ingledow, who you know from the fire department here, his dad is buried there, and that's how this basically all started. There's 1,800 graves in that section, and we raised $27,000, which covered every grave in that section. That's the first time that's ever been done. Nobody's done it before. Hopefully more people will do it. Lennox is home of proud Americans. We thank all the support that the citizens of Lennox give us, but I want to say that to Ray, which is a major sponsor, that's how we get to $27,000. It wouldn't be possible without his support.
No, okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job.
Come up here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Good morning, Madam Speaker, board members. Thank you for allowing me to speak here. I'm mainly here because I recently read of a resolution that the board turned down about the Second Amendment. I think all of you here have taken an oath to support the Constitution. I took that same oath back in March 31st, 1966 when I went into the Army. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and it greatly offends me that you would not support our Constitution or to support something against it as far as the Second Amendment goes. It seems to me to be hypocritical. You take this oath and then you vote against it. And I was told by Facebook, I talked to one of you, and I was given a lot of things about it was against this law and that law. Well, I read the resolution. It's strictly about the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. I'm very disappointed that this happened. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Are there any other members of the public who would like to speak? Members of the public wishing to speak? Members of the public wishing to speak? Comments by board members? Ballot.
As I brought that resolution forward for the Second Amendment, and when it went through discussion at committee, everything was talked about except what was on the resolution. So I thought it had a very poor reception of the board members because they obviously didn't read the resolution. But anyway, moving forward, I created a new one, and then I realized that we didn't need it because instead of me writing it, a past county board already passed the same thing, except their language was a little bit better than mine. So it is in effect right now. So we are a county that supports the Second Amendment. The Legislative Committee passed Resolution 08-14 in October 16, 2008. And it's never been removed, so it's still there. So I found no need to move forward with my resolution since this says what I tried to say much better. The resolution reads, whereas the right of the people to keep and bear arms is guaranteed as an individual right under the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and under the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and whereas the right of the people to keep and bear arms for defense of life, liberty, and property is regarded as an inalienable right by the people of Will County, Illinois, and whereas the people of Will County, Illinois derive economic benefits from all safe forms of firearms, recreation, hunting, and shooting conducted within Will County using all types of firearms allowable under the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Illinois. Whereas the Will County Board, being elected to represent the people of Will County and by their oath of office, are to uphold the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Illinois. And whereas the Illinois House of Representatives and the Illinois Senate, being elected by the people of the State of Illinois and by their oath of office, are to uphold the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Illinois. Now therefore be resolved that the people of Will County, Illinois do hereby oppose the enactment of any legislation that would infringe upon the right of the people to keep and bear arms, and consider such laws to be unconstitutional and beyond lawful legislative authority. Be it further resolved that the Will County Clerk shall send a copy of this resolution to the Will County State and Federal Legislative delegations and the Governor of the State of Illinois. Be it further resolved that the preamble of this resolution is hereby adopted as it is fully set forth herein. The resolution shall be enforced in effect upon its passage and approval as provided by law, and it was dated October 16, 2008. So I will not be bringing a new resolution forward since this resolution already exists.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Mr. Tominello.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to say you did a very good job today. Speaker Winfrey, stepping up there and doing something that you're not normally used to doing. It's fantastic at times, so good job. But also wish the very best and offer my prayers up for the Walsh family. I'm praying Larry Walsh has a speedy recovery. And I just really wanted to say to my colleagues, Happy Easter. You know, every time of this year, every time of the year we go around and we're thankful for certain things, certain times of the year, but Easter is of great importance to my family, and I wish each and every one of you a happy Easter.
Thank you, Mr. Tominello. Ms. Ventura.
Yes, I have a couple comments. The first is with Earth Day being this weekend, I would encourage everyone to participate in some local cleanups, do some plantings, and enjoy the weather and as well as Easter. The next thing is to comment on Mr. Ballard's resolution that he brought up for both the 2008 one. One of the differences in that resolution is that it asks us to work within the law of the state constitution as well as the federal constitution. And I just wanted to make comment to Mr. Osix that no one was voting no against the Second Amendment. We were voting no, that it asks us to obey or to oppose the state resolutions. So thank you, Mr. Ballard, for bringing up the 2008 one that I think we all can get behind proudly to support both of our laws. The next thing I wanted to comment was about Julie made a comment, Mr. Berkowitz made a comment about removing or listing it on the agenda. If it is at all possible, I understand that we can't change the agenda, but perhaps there can be a red line item put on there. It is received in the correct amount of time that the application has been removed. I know it doesn't happen often, but perhaps that's something we could look into procedural-wise. That way people who have taken off work, we're not wasting their time as well, that we're being considered that, if at all possible. And the last thing I wanted to bring up was the tabling of the items. So Robert Rules of Order lists that to lay an item on the table is properly used when it is a necessity to suspend consideration of a main motion in order to deal with another matter that has come up unexpectedly, which is to be dealt with before the pending motion can be properly addressed. It has, however, become common to misuse the motion to end consideration of a pending main motion without debate or to mistakenly assume that its adoption prevents further consideration of the main motion at all, or until a specific time. So in this case, I believe that we should have postponed the motion, which is a debatable motion, whereas the table is not a debatable, but it is used in a different capacity. So going forward, I will hope that we use the proper Robert's Rules of Order. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ventura. Mr. Eustace?
Yes. I just really wanted to thank the board for supporting my residents in my district. Greatly appreciate it. And happy Easter, everyone, or whatever holiday you may celebrate. In my case, I celebrate both the Orthodox and I do two Easters. I do the Greek Orthodox one also, even though I'm not Greek Orthodox, but my family is. So, everyone have a great Easter, and let's have some nice weather. Happy spring. Our baseball team is starting to do a little better. So, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eustace. Ms. Summers?
No, I'm just going to repeat what
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Ms. Ogala.
Thank you. I just wanted to speak a little bit about Senate Bill 527 that we passed a resolution in support of that earlier today. That legislation is very important, especially to the residents in County Board District 1, specifically those near the proposed Peatone Airport. Those lands were taken off the property tax rolls beginning in 2002 for this airport, and tax dollars have not been collected except through the form of this lease, these lease dollars. I have written a letter to Senator Tori Hutchinson thanking her for putting that legislation forward, but also asking her to help get the drainage district fees collected. In the unincorporated areas, the only form of stormwater removal is through our drainage district. We do not have the money to do that, and the drainage districts suffer, and they have been suffering since 2002. So hopefully I will hear from her shortly, because I do plan to continue to ask for that, because it is wrong that the residents in East Will County have suffered for so long. It's long proposed airport, which is nothing more than a tax-sucking leech on the taxpayers and the residents in my district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. Mr. Weigel?
Yeah, I just wanted to state that in our judicial committee, I was opposed to the amendment that Mr. Bayless brought forward. I didn't agree with some of the wording, but I do recall back in 2008 that I did vote in favor of the resolution at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Our majority leader, Mr. Ferry.
Thank you, Speaker Winfrey. I'd just like to re-acknowledge Providence Catholic High School on their 100th anniversary. That is a long time. Congratulations to everyone there. Also re-recognize the Special Olympics basketball state championship from Joliet Township High School. Playing any sport or any activity to a championship level is really important, and it's a great goal to accelerate a team and the team motivate them. And when they get there, they deserve acknowledgement. So thank you so much for your hard work. Also, it's National County Government Month, as I said earlier, and Earth Day, April 22nd, is coming up. And the Red Cross on the Alarm event are also coming up in May. I just want to say for the holiday weekend, everybody be safe. Take any actions you need to take to have a safe weekend. And finally, I want to congratulate our colleague Ray Tumanello. Well done, buddy. And happy anniversary, happy Easter, everyone, on whatever you celebrate.
Thank you, Mr. Ferry. Mr. Frisellone?
Good morning, Will County. Still morning. I'll try to get it this afternoon. I too want to congratulate Providence. You know, Father Merck happens to do Mass at my church, so I get to see him every week. He is a good man, he does a good job, and he really is concerned about all of his constituents. So I want to congratulate him as well. The Special Olympics, I want to congratulate this team, but I also like to congratulate the Special Olympics program. It's a great program. I follow one Special Olympian. You guys that have been here a while know him. Diane Grossy's son, Matt, who seems that every time I see him on there, he's winning another medal, whether it's running, swimming, jumping. I mean, he has them all, so it's fun to follow him if you get a chance. As far as National County Government Month, we celebrate that every month here, because we're out here working for our constituents. We work together to make the county better, so we're celebrating that every month. As far as Earth Day, I want to talk about that a little bit. Earth Day was created in 1970. I was actually around for that. So when I was in high school and we first started Earth Day, you know, it was basically the culmination of environmentalists coming together and saying we have to start moving forward. And we did move forward. You know, we should have done this next year, because I know we don't do things every year. Next year is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. But, you know, so much has happened in that 49 years. The U.S. Green Building Council was formed, and they've created a lot of certifications, like LEED certification, which our new courthouse will be, that really looks to a better environment through sustainable products and more energy efficiency. I hope Sam's still here. And you know, now there's even a new certification coming on called WELL certification. Will be more about the employee and working in his conditions and better air quality and better life within the facility. And of course, all of the programs that have happened here have happened since the 70s. The recycling programs, our solar programs, our solar study programs. I mean, we in Will County really are at the forefront of environmental and sustainable projects and programs. I will say one thing, it takes time. There are a lot of people that want things to happen overnight with the environmental stuff. It's not that easy. It takes money, it takes effort, it takes people. So you do have to be a little patient as we get into these things. I mean, even our study alone, it probably took us 5 months here just to get the study approved. We haven't even started on that yet. So, you know, you would like to put up solar panels on everything tomorrow, but until you do the studies and do the due diligence and find the money, it takes some time. But we're moving in the right direction. You can know that Will County is probably a leader, we are a leader, in almost all of those different fields, and we're still looking for other ways. One of the things that we are going to do is every single rebate we get, and we've got a lot of rebates, energy rebates, are now going to go only for projects that are energy produce, you know, energy efficient things, so we'll dedicate that money right to it. So there won't be any pulling it elsewhere. We want to get as energy efficient and as sustainable as we can in this county. So I think we're doing a great job. Congratulate everybody on that. And finally, everybody's talking about Easter. Today is Holy Thursday for me. It's called Maundy